So almost all of us have our feelings about ourselves go up and down, sometimes over longer periods of time, sometimes many times a day. Some of us tend to get stuck feeling inadequate or bad about ourselves and can be down in the dumps for some time around this. Others of us can feel good about ourselves, but often get stressed out trying to achieve things, trying to prove that we're good people, trying in other ways to keep our self-esteem afloat. I wonder if you could share an example, either personal or professional, of a struggle around this that you've witnessed, and then tell us what have been the most effective antidotes that you found to this kind of self-esteem roller coaster.
Yeah, well, I can perhaps give a personal example of struggling to keep myself from falling into the depths, and that was 20 years of public speaking anxiety. After I graduated from university with a PhD as an expert in anxiety disorders, I suffered for 20 years from public speaking anxiety, and everything that I tried didn't work. Once it got so bad that I was giving a talk to about 75 therapists. I believe you might have even been there in Santa Fe. And I got up on stage and started to open my mouth to speak, and nothing came out. And somebody in the back of the room yells out, "Take a breath." And so that was a low point. And it continued on for a number of years later, until in desperation, I learned self-compassion, which in particular for me was through the form of loving kindness meditation, primarily for myself. So actually, Ron, you and I were, we had scheduled our first Harvard-sponsored meditation and psychotherapy conference, and 4 months prior to that, in sheer terror, knowing that this was not going to go well because I don't do well in public speaking context, I went on a meditation retreat, and there I was often fretting about this forthcoming conference, and then the teacher basically said to me, "Why don't you just sit on the cushion and love yourself?" So basically, you don't need to worry too much about mindfulness, and don't even worry about being anxious. Just love yourself when you're anxious. And so that's what I did for 4 months, running up to this conference. And then when the conference actually happened, when I got up to speak, I had the usual terror, but there was a new voice in the back of my head which said, "Oh, may you be safe, may you be peaceful, may you be healthy." And then I looked out over the crowd, and everybody looked so beautiful to me, which was unusual because usually they're the enemy because they could judge me. So this changed my life. I actually haven't had much public speaking anxiety since then, even though my colleagues, perhaps yourself as well, Ron, may wish that I had more public speaking anxiety, because it's hard to shut me up nowadays. But
which is a great benefit to the world.
Thank you. But nonetheless, it was really transformative. That's actually what got me interested in self-compassion, which is what I've been doing for the last, 15, 16 years. But the question ultimately in my mind was, how did this work? Particularly since I spent so many years trying to make space for anxiety. And what I discovered in this case was that actually my public speaking anxiety was really a shame disorder, and I hadn't seen the shame. I hadn't been able to address the shame. That is the fear, if I'm trying to talk about mindfulness and I'm shaking like a leaf, fear of being seen by others and evaluated by others as fraudulent, incompetent, stupid. And this was such a horrifying prospect that I couldn't even get near it. But when I just started to love myself as kind of a broken person who couldn't speak in public, it addressed the shame without even knowing that shame was at the root of it. So this has been enormously helpful in my life. And since then, I've discovered in so many people's lives that that actually there's a different a source of self-worth. Most people, they get their self-worth, or most of us get our self-worth from external approval, from contingent social support. And self-compassion is a different source. Self-compassion is getting your self-worth from inner kindness. And this was a revolutionary experience for me, and for many people now, really a transformative idea.
Yeah. And it's not about being better or worse than others. It's about loving yourself as you are.
Yes, as you are, which is as an imperfect human being, as someone who is fully human.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your experience and your wisdom around this.
Thank you, Ron.